All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak, Kodash. And say double honor to the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone for teaching his word and truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to my fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. It is your brother Kabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii coming to you with another lesson. And this lesson is on this article that you see in front of you from Reuters and is entitled Pope hopes Canada trip will help heal evil done to indigenous people. Okay, and this is just another one of Esau's placating to the emotions of Jake. Because when all these other nations, when they go through tribulation and hardship done by these other nations, it gets rectified. Meaning whether they get payments, whether they get their land back, or whether there's some justice, some real justice behind it. They don't just get an empty "I'm sorry." And these Edomites, they believe by placating Jake's emotion, and it's not even just the indigenous Native Americans or the so-called indigenous people, what they call, which is really the tribes of Gad, Reuben, Issachar, Manasseh, the Northern Kingdom. But even when it comes to the Southern Kingdom, the so-called Negro, West Indian, and Haitian, they give us empty words, empty speeches, as if that's going to be enough to placate your emotions and the right the wrongs that they've done. I always mention Mitch McConnell, Senator Mitch McConnell, but this devil, he says that, they shouldn't have to pay for what happened 150 years ago, So he said, that they gave you landmark civil rights legislation. You had a black president. Nobody here today is guilty of, in his words, nobody here today is guilty of putting anybody into slavery, which is a lie, because not only did these corporations, these politicians who still rule today, as well as the so-called Catholic Church, the mother of all harlots, okay, of this devil, they all benefited off of the destruction of the children of Israel. All of them have. And, they've done so much damage to our people that they don't even recognize what has happened unto us. This is the book of Daniel chapter 9 verse 12. This is the book of Daniel 9 and 12. Okay, Daniel 9 and 12. It says, "And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem." Right. And our people, Jerusalem is a people who is a place that consists of the whole nation of Israel. All right. What has been done to us hasn't been done to anybody else on this earth. The way our people have been subject unto oppression, enslavement, captivity unto captivity, destruction unto destruction. And we understand through the Spirit that was for our benefit. But you heathen nations, you didn't know that. You were just moving off your hatred. You didn't even know that the Lord was using you as a sword to chastise his people. Okay, but when it comes to these other nations, they get all kinds of benefits, not just landmark legislation that protects them, but they also provide for them. They also, in some cases, they're giving land. I just saw a video of Bill Clinton in the 90s. He gave like over a certain amount of billions of dollars to pay to those Amalekites that so-called went through that Holocaust, man. They got payments for that. And they got a whole system that's set up to protect them and to root out any words of unbelief towards them in their situation. But all these devils got to do for us is say, "Oh, we're sorry," or I'm gonna make a visit to you in Canada. And it ain't just Canada; it's those indigenous schools. They destroyed our people, man. From North America to Canada to the South Americas, man. And when Esau came in, the first thing he brought to you was that white Christ. So they came in a guise of so-called Christianity. Whether you call it Catholicism or whether you call it Christianity, you Edomites, you devils, you brought that shit. And when you brought it, you brought a brutal regime behind it. Okay? And what these so-called church fathers and mothers have done to our people is incalculable. All right. So when you devils try to say, well, oh, this happens to everybody. They use that slavery happens to every society and all this other stuff. Well, what you did to us didn't happen to them people in those other societies. And a lot of times when you talk about slavery in the ancient world, shit, it was our people that was catching it, man. And it's all about the children of Israel. The Lord don't care about the other nations. But a sorry is not going to fix this. A visit is not going to fix the evil done to the indigenous people. There is going to be a visit that's going to fix it. It's the visit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. When he comes to visit you, hey, he ain't coming with no fair speeches and words, man. He's coming with judgment. So it says Pope hopes Canada trip will help heal evil done to indigenous people. How? It says July 17th, Pope Francis said on Sunday, his trip to Canada next week will be a pilgrimage of penance that he hopes can help heal the wrongs done to indigenous people by Roman Catholic priests and nuns who ran abusive residential schools. And they wasn't just abusive; they were raping our children, they were raping the kids, they were beating them, they were doing whatever they wanted to them. It was an open pedophile market and pederasty market. And it was the men and the women of the Catholic Church that were destroying our people, talking about some kill an Indian and save the man type mentality. Let me play this real quick.
Next Sunday, God willing, I will go to Canada. For this reason, I would now like to address all the citizens of that country. Dear brothers and sisters of Canada,
Greedy brothers.
As you know, I will come among you, especially to meet and hug the indigenous peoples in the name of Jesus. Unfortunately, in Canada, many Christians, including some members of religious orders, contributed to the policies of cultural...
Yeah, you see, like the people that praise this man and support this man are our people. You got Jake from Brazil. You got Jake all over the world that's deeply entrenched in Catholicism. And they actually believe that this Edomite is the vicar of who they call the vicar of Christ, is a man of the Lord, man. And these people hinge on this dude's word. He's nothing more than a king of religion. This nigga he's a monarch in a religious world. And he think about giving a visit is going to help alleviate the trauma, the destruction, the wickedness that you've done to our people, as if that's going to appease our people. And Jake is simple. They listen to this man and they really believe that that he's coming in peace, man. But this nigga is a warlord, man.
Including some members of religious orders, contributed to the policies of cultural assimilation that in the past gravely damaged native populations in various ways. Because of this, I recently received at the Vatican some groups of representatives of indigenous people, expressing to them my pain and solidarity over the evil that they endured. And now I am about to make a penitential pilgrimage, which I hope that, with the grace of God, can contribute to the path of healing and reconciliation that already has been started.
What reconciliation? You didn't reconcile anything. You got to reconcile us to make something right again. And you Edomites, you didn't do that. You made everything wrong. Okay? And this is why you don't listen to this devil. You can't listen, you can't trust this man. This is Genesis 49:19. A troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome in the last, right? Because that troop that overcame Gad was the cavalry, the US troops, because they really took down Gad in North America. But you had a lot of Gadites living in what is called today Canada, Alaska. You had a lot of Israelites living up there, right? And they suffered the same fate. Their land was taken from them. Their identity was taken from them. They was beat. They were enslaved. They were destroyed. They tried to genocide them out, man. They tried to empty them off the earth, man. Even to this very day, they get, just like the so-called Negro, they get this glossed over historical ideology built around them, which is not true. You know? So it says a troop shall overcome Gad, and in the end he shall overcome, right? Because we're in the last days, and Gad is going to overcome you devils, man. You know, Gad is going to raise up off them reservations, and anywhere else he's scattered at, and they're going to get their just due back, man. You know, because you Edomites, you devils, again, you think that your kind words and your fair speeches it's all you need to say. If that was the case, then all you got to do, if you was a mass murderer, just tell the people you sorry, and you should be able to just walk up into the sunset, right? But that's not how it happens. This man's a hypocrite. This is Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Again, all they had to do is say, I'm sorry, please forgive us for what happened in the past. We're moving on to healing. And it's all bullshit like this.
Apologize. Native Americans apologize for the historic university future location of that site. He even announced an executive order to apologize for the historic mistreatment of Native Americans in California.
We apologize on behalf of the citizens of California to all California Native Americans for the many instances of violence, maltreatment, neglect, murder inflicted on the tribes.
So, and then you got our simple ass Jakes. They hang on to every word this devil say. All you got to do is apologize to a nigga, and they'll just accept it. Nah, that's not how it works with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. The evil you put in, that what you sow, you're gonna reap that. Here it is. This man's apologizing for murder, for genocide, for neglect, for abuse, for land robbery. And all he's doing is say, I'm sorry. And then they talk about creating a building or a place where people can go to memoriam to some shit, man. Nah, that ain't how this works, man. That's not how this works, but this is what they do. Again, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And that's all these devils are capable of doing is drawing out the sword and evil and war in their heart, man. You know, sorry ain't gonna bring back the lives and bring back the land and bring back their identity, what you beat, stole, and murdered out of them. It's not gonna. That's not how this works. You know, but according to Esau, that's how it works. It's Ecclesiastes 12:16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. And that's how this devil get down. That's exactly how he gets down. He'll speak sweetly with his lips, but he imagineth how to overthrow thee, right? Because you had Jake with land that was resourceful, whether that be in precious stones, metals, oil, things like that. And what you devils do, you pushed our people off them lands and you took it, therefore expanding your evil empire, man, your Edomite empire. All right, and you think, man, you think that's the rule. When you get in power, you think these liberals are they have our back. They listen to our plight, and these ain't nothing but a bunch of simpletons and sellouts, man. Jakes, man. You shouldn't be trying to sit down and speak democratically with these people. You shouldn't be trying to have words with this man across the table. This is weakness right here. That's all this shit. This is weak. This is a defeated people right here. Because in reality, you should be trying to take this man down. But you're not going to do that because it's not in their spirit to do that. Which is okay because Yahweh Shai is going to do it. All right? The Lord is not going to come back on a diplomatic mission talking to you Edomites. Nah, not going to happen. Not on your lifetime. Right? This is Proverbs 17:9. He that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. Right? And that's all this Pope is doing, because they've done atrocities upon atrocities. All of that pedophilia that they into now, they were into it back then. Enslaving our people, making papal bulls to take our people over and to destroy them and take their lands and had them people had the heathens looking at our people as if they were just complete savages, people without a culture, a history, knowledge of anything, just savages. That's what you treat. That's what you teach our people, and you come out and you made our history a commodity in this world. You got Edomites dressing up as so-called Indians, native people. Shit, you go to a powwow, the vast majority of the people that be there be Edomites, man. You know, that's what you reduce to entertainment. You know, a no people. So this is Ecclesiasticus 14:5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Exactly, because this man is evil to himself. So how can he be good to us? How can a trip to Canada help heal the evil done to so-called indigenous people, which they were Israelites, man? How? It can't, and it won't. All right? But we'll tell you how that this can be corrected. Okay? This is Ecclesiastes 3:15. That which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been. And the Heavenly Father required that which is past. So the Lord required that which is past. You put his people into captivity, guess what? You got to go into captivity. You killed his people by the sword, guess what? You got to be killed by the sword. All right? You do any harm to the Lord's people, it's going to be done to you, because you didn't take, like Elder Apostle Har said, that's a quote from him, rough paraphrase, you Edomites, when you came over here, you didn't take niggas and Indians and Hispanics into captivity. You took the children of Israel into captivity. Sovereigns. You took sovereigns and put us in captivity, man. We're the apple of the Lord's eye, man. So you got to pay for that. And again, a visit from you of all people. This man is filthy. This dude's a fucking warlock of all people. He talked about God willing and God this and God that, but he don't worship Yahweh Shem Shai. This nigga worships Satan. You know? He's a Satanist, man. And a chief went at that. You know? So who is he going to be good to? The Most High also said he required that which is past. So sorry ain't going to cut it. 2 Thessalonians 1:6. Seeing it as a righteous thing with the Heavenly Father to recompense tribulation to them that trouble. So tribulation is trouble, hardship. The Lord said he's going to recompense. He's going to pay back that to you. And that's righteous. That's righteous. You know? That's righteous. That's to repay somebody back the evil that they caused you. That's a righteous thing. But in this world, no, all we got to do is say sorry, and they'll accept it. All we got to do is say, I apologize, and they'll accept it. But you can't use that shit nowhere else in the world but on a nigga, on a tomahawk, and I'm using these derogatory names, but this is what they call us. The only people that will accept a sorry is from the heathen that inflicted pain and destruction on them is the so-called Native American, so-called Negro, so-called Latino. And you keep going to this man thinking that this man is going to right his wrong. He's never going to do that, man. He's never had our best interests at hand. He don't care about us. This man hates us, man. This is Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Okay, verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, man. And that's true recompense, not a visit from Satan. You put up somebody in captivity, you're going to go into captivity. You kill somebody with the sword, you must be killed by the sword, man. And that's the patience of the faith of the saints that Yahweh Shem Shai, the God of the Bible, the God of the Israelites, the same Bible this devil called himself reading from, then being a fucking, he claimed that he's a vicar of, speaking from a fucking window, shows you how detached this devil is, man. Speaking to you from a window. You can barely see this devil. But he opens the window and you people accept that shit. Fuck this devil, man. It's Jeremiah 15:33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah, that's the so-called Native Americans, Hispanics, Latinos that were here in the Americas, you know, and in the Caribbean islands, and the children of Judah, so-called Negro, West Indian, Haitian, the ones you call Negroes and blacks, were oppressed together. And all that took them captive, held them fast, they refused to let them go. And that's right, these devils, they refuse to let us go. They ain't going to give us back our sovereignty that they snatched from us. They ain't going to give us back our land that they snatched from us. They ain't going to give us back the lives that they took from us. Okay, they're not going to do that. They're not going to give back the resources, the wealth, none of that shit. But this says this, verse 34, their Redeemer is strong. Who's our Redeemer? Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shah. And the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, which he's going to bring war to you, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. And that's talking about America. You know? Jeremiah 30:16, therefore all that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. That's payback. And all you nations devoured us, especially the nation of Edom. You're the last ones to do it. But you did it before, but you're this rulership is with you on top. Okay, and that shit was brutal. When you go into the history of what Columbus and his marauders did to our people, Cortez, Pizarro, all on a word and the behest of the Catholic Church, King Ferdinand and Isabella. You know, all of those words, all those fair speeches and words that you gave to go and destroy our people, man. You're gonna pay for that shit. You're gonna pay for that shit. Okay? So the Lord said he's going to give you for a prey. And that's payback, not a visit from Satan. Pope has Canada trip. Hope's Canada trip will help heal the evil done to indigenous people. You crazy, man. Ain't no fucking visit from you going to help that, man. Except if you're dealing with a sellout, he or she may accept it. But a true man of the Lord, true believer in Yahweh Shah, not going to accept this. It's that. Shalom. On to the next.